Our senior project was to create a database and maintenance plan for the PERT lab. Our group members were me, Ashley Beneke, Bradley Lemoyne, Kai Muse, and Andrew Fontenot. So we selected all of the major equipment at the PERT lab and divided it into 4 systems: the choke manifold system, the tank separator system, the pump system, and the well storage system. At this point in our project, we've completed the choke manifold system and the tank separator system. Each of these systems has various subsystems that are in each system, and we created a unique nomenclature naming system so that each piece of equipment would have a name that was unique to itself, which would make it easier for us to know which piece of equipment we're trying to do maintenance on. So the nomenclature system, which you can see under nomenclature in this column, is designated by the system. So in this case, the choke manifold system dash subsystem. So in the case of the one that's highlighted, that's a choke valve. And then the last dash is going to be the unique number within that subsystem. And then obviously you can see that it goes into further detail in the second column to tell you what type of equipment it is. Just in case the nomenclature system doesn't necessarily speak volumes to you, you can see exactly what that piece of equipment is. And then the next column also tells you what system you're in. And then we have pictures of each system that are hyperlinked in here. So if we can go down to, yes, this is going to be in the tank separator system. It's our butterfly valve, and as you can see, this is a picture of that butterfly valve. So whoever's doing the maintenance procedure will know exactly which piece of equipment that they're looking for. So if we go back to the original database, we can see over here we also have specs for each piece of equipment. So we're going to take a look at the choke manifold system gate valve number 3. And while we're waiting for that to download, we'll be able to see that they're, okay, here we go. So you can see that they're actually, we see the specs for this piece of equipment, and we see the temperature ratings that we need to make sure that we're abiding by, and the pressure ratings and the class. And it's just very helpful to have this all in one place, because sometimes the piece of equipment can be painted over, and so you won't be able to see this later on in the life of that piece of equipment. And go.
Hey, my name's Kai Muse. I worked on schematics for the project. So there's also a hyperlink system in our Access database, and you can just click right there and it'll take you to a PDF file of our schematics. And as you can see, we've changed the nomenclature system inside the schematics. So for the separator right here, we added the TS-SP-1. We also did this for all the other equipment, such as the tanks, the ball valves, the control valves over here, and just about everything that needs maintenance work on it. And they're also all consistent with PIP standards.
Within the database, we have the maintenance table, in which you can go to the procedure name, description, and the full procedure. So for instance, if you went to the plug valve maintenance, the description would be, we have the maintenance requirement, the greasing, the BOM table, the exploded view, and the preventative maintenance. So if you clicked on the hyperlink for the plug valve maintenance, you could go in and then you can control F, or you could go to the table of contents, in which the table of contents lists the different things. For example, the required tools for the maintenance requirements, the recommended regreasing procedures, the BOM table, exploded view, and so on. So if you wanted to, for example, go and look at the maintenance requirements, you could hit Control F and search maintenance requirements and search throughout the document and continue until you get to the point where you want to go. Alright, for here, for example, it gives you the preventative maintenance, and it tells you after every frac job or stage job that it should be the piece of equipment should be maintenance. And then it gives you, for example, the periodic inspection and the different maintenance procedures in order to carry out the periodic inspection. And then you can keep going, and it shows you, for example, how to use the grease gun and how to load it. And then you can go through and go to the actual troubleshooting portion by Control F again, type in troubleshooting. And then here it shows you the problem in case you're having a problem and it's not periodic maintenance. You can go, you find a problem, and then it gives you the solution. And within the solution, it's going to have different parts of equipment in which you might not necessarily know exactly what they're talking about, so you could Control F again and go to the exploded view of the piece of equipment. Okay, here we have the exploded view of the piece of equipment in which it has exact numbers for the different pieces, and if you scroll up above it, you can find the different numbers for the BOM numbers, and then it tells you the exact description of the piece of equipment, and that will allow you to know which piece of equipment they're talking about in the maintenance procedures. And so then after that, they have the testing procedures for the pieces of equipment, and you can type in that, and so it gives you the exact test procedures in order to test the equipment's working properly. Once you ensure proper functionality of the piece of equipment, you can go out and put the piece of equipment back into use in the PERT lab.
One of the final tables of the Access database is the maintenance order table. This table allows PERT staff to submit requests for maintenance. They can put in the equipment and the procedure that needs to be maintained, and can provide further description of the maintenance to give the rest of the PERT staff a better idea of what exactly needs to be done. This is also accompanied by a maintenance date and a status to show whether it has been completed or not, and additionally who requested the maintenance and who completed it, just so that the PERT staff can better communicate and effectively relay information to each other. Additionally, if you go to the maintenance order form, this is the form where you can submit the data. You can also look at past records. If you look at the arrows on procedure, it's actually a drop-down list, and it allows you to pick out of the procedures that are in the maintenance table. Then you can type in your extra description, submit a date, and you can drop down from a list of PERT staff to select who has requested and who has completed the maintenance. So if you go and get a new maintenance form and then try to type in a piece of equipment that does not exist and submit a procedure for it, and if you try to submit this form, it actually will not let you. It will say that you cannot add a record because a related record is required in an equipment table. This is one of the very important features of Access. It ensures referential integrity. So this is really helpful for keeping all the information in your records accurate and ensuring that there's no inaccurate records or essentially records that don't actually apply to the database. So additionally, adding new records is really easy. If we go over to the PERT staff and we want to add a new member to the team, it's as simple as clicking at the bottom and then typing in the new name. This can be done for all of the tables, such as the equipment table and the maintenance table, if you're trying to add more pieces of the equipment to the lab or add new maintenance procedures.
So we still have 2 of the 4 systems to complete. We still have to complete the pump system, the storage well system, and then we're going to work on finalizing our database. If we go to the next slide, we can actually see the remaining tasks from our Gantt chart from last semester. We can see that we have this pumps system left, the storage well system, and we can see what individual tasks are still present within each system. So obviously we still need to photograph the equipment and update the schematics, and then also include create the nomenclature system for each system, and then basically create that Excel template and then put everything into the database on Access, and then also, of course, get the maintenance procedures associated with each piece of equipment, and that's just going to basically be the wrapping up of the next 2 systems. But since we've already done 2, it's going to be really easy to repeat the procedure.
The last thing we need to do is finalize the database and upload it to a server. One of the key features that we want for this project is for PERT lab staff to be able to access this database on their mobile devices and add records in real time. The main way that we're thinking of doing this is uploading the database onto a server and creating a website for it that PERT lab staff can log into and then use that to change data on their phones while they're walking around the PERT lab.